this class, we want to learn HTML. This allows you to build a web page. This allows you to build a web page. For those of us that are into data science or AI, you are going to be doing something called web scripting along the line, and you will also need this class to understand the structure of a web page, and that's why both of us are in this class. I mean, those in the AI part and those in the web part, all of us are here today. That's right. Now let's take this nice class. Introduction to web development. A website is a page that we run on a web browser. A page that is being run on a web browser. We have a lot of web pages, and a website is divided into different parts. We have the front end, we have the back end. The front end and the back end. The front end of a website is that part of a website that we can see and relate with. For instance, if I go to facebook.com, this page that we are seeing is the front end of the web page. This page. This is the front end of the web page. If I go to twitter.com, this part that we are seeing is the front end of this page. So the front end of a page is that part of a page that we can see and relate with. That is front end. Now let's now talk about back end. The back end of a page is that part of a page that processes what you are seeing on the front end. So front end displays information the users can see and relate with it, while the back end is that part that processes what you are seeing on the front end. For instance, let me go back to facebook.com. This picture was uploaded by someone, and it will actually be kept somewhere before it is being displayed to me. When you upload it, why is it not the question is, why is, okay, this is my profile picture now. Why is it not your own profile picture? This is my own profile picture because this is my own account. So how does it know that this thing should be displayed to me and not to you? When I uploaded my DP or my profile picture, why is it not being uploaded into your own account? How does it know that it should be in my own account? The back end handles all of that. So front end is that part that we can see and relate with. Back end is that part that handles the processing of this data, information, or whatever you see at the front end. Do you have any question? Please, do you have any question? Can we proceed? Okay. You can, if you have anything, you can drop it in the message box. You can just drop a message. I'll go to it and read it. So let's move on. This front end is divided into different parts. Like I said, we have front end and back end. The front end is that part that we can see and relate to. The back end is the part that processes the information. Now that front end is divided into 3 parts, or there are 3 major tools that we use at the front end. For those that are into web, you will learn both the front end and the back end. Why? But for those that are into data science, AI, you will only learn part of the front end. In fact, not even the whole front end, you will learn part of it. Now let's talk about the front end. At the front end, we have three parts of the front end. Number one, we have HTML. You will be learning HTML. Then you will learn CSS. Finally, you will learn JavaScript. So you will learn HTML, you will learn CSS, and you will learn JavaScript. So these are the three things that you are going to learn at this front end. Please give me a second, let me quickly attend. So at the front end, we have three things you're going to learn. You will learn HTML, you will learn CSS, you will learn JavaScript. These are the backbone of the front end page. So let's discuss the usefulness of these three so that we know why we are learning them. Again, those in AI will not learn this. We will only learn this first one. So let's discuss this three. HTML, we are starting with this. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Hypertext Markup Language. He's the one responsible for the layout of your web page. It's like the foundation of a web page. It's like the structure. He's the one that is responsible for giving us the structure of a web page. Then, next is the CSS. Why the HTML is responsible for the structure? The CSS is responsible for the design of the web page, for beautifying of our web page, for beautifying our web page. It's responsible for the beautification of the whole web page, makes everything look so beautiful. Normally, HTML is like skeleton of your web page, skeleton. Why CSS is like the flesh? It's one that makes it fine and look pretty, beautiful, appealing to people. If you only see a page built with HTML, it will just look, well, unappealing, ugly, but is one responsible for the skeleton, the layout. Why the CSS is responsible for beautifying our web page. Lastly, JavaScript is responsible for the functionality of the front end. It's like the brain of the front end. So let's start with HTML. We'll start with the skeleton. Then, as time goes on, we go to the designs. Then, we go to adding functionality to the web page. Let's start with the first one. HTML. HTML. First thing, please, have we all downloaded Sublime Text or any text editor of your choice? Please, have we? If you are yet to download this, please, can you let us know?
Yes,
Okay. Okay. So, let's.
I'm I'm here to download it.
Okay, you are yet to download it. Please download Sublime Text or any other text. We have other text editor. We have Visual Studio Code. We have Atom. We have a lot of text, but I think the one we'll be using for this class is Sublime Text. It is a very light editor. It is light. Next is this. After downloading Sublime Text, it's going to look like this. Let me close out these pages. After downloading it and you open it, let me close everything and open it again from scratch. It's going to look like this. Like nothing will be inside. Next is we want to write our first set of codes. Now, HTML codes are being executed on the browser. They are being executed on the browser. Meaning that although we use Sublime Text and other text editors to write it, but when it's time to run it, when it's time to execute the codes, you need a web browser to do that. So you can use Chrome, you can use Firefox, you can use Microsoft Edge, you can use Safari. You need a web browser to run it. I think my default browser is Chrome. Next is this. You want to write some commands inside this place that the browser will understand. Now, every file is divided into two. Every file. If I have a picture, let's see, the name of my picture is taye.jpg. Just say this is my picture. If I have every file name is divided into two. Number one, we have the base name and we have the extension. If you have any file, whether it's a PDF file, let's say it's my picture, I can say photograph, it can be photograph.pdf. Photograph.pdf. This is the name of, let's assume this is the name of a file. This is divided into two. The first part is the base name, that is the parts before these dots is the base name. This photograph is the base name. Why this PDF is the extension. In this case, this taye is the base name. Why is this JPG is the extension. So every file name is divided into two, a base name and extension. Let's discuss the meaning of why we need the two. The base name is the name of the file, like maybe so that you'll be able to search for it, easily identify it, and all of that. That's the base name. But the extension is meant for your operating system. It's meant for your device. How do you think that when I send a picture to you on WhatsApp, when I send an image to you on WhatsApp and you download the image, after downloading it, if you try to open it, how do you think your device is able to know the right application to suggest to you? If I send a file to you, let's say a PDF file to you, your device, your phone or laptop or anything, will not open it with an application meant to open an image. Instead, it will open it with maybe a PDF reader or WPS or something like that. Something that opens PDF. How do you think it's able to know all of this? That's because of the extension. It uses this extension to know the type of file. The extension is responsible for the type of file. When it sees JPG, it automatically knows that this is an image. When it sees PDF, it automatically knows that this is a PDF file. Do you understand? Are we still getting? Are we getting
Yes.
it? Are we following?
Yes.
So that's
Yes,
how. Okay, good. So that's how it's able to know. Now, when you now want to write HTML files, HTML files must end with .html. It can be any name. I can come and give it any name of your choice, any name. But it must end with .html, so that it can be regarded as an HTML file. If it doesn't end with HTML, the browser will not be able to know that, oh, this is meant for me. But immediately it ends with .html, instantly your operating system knows that this thing is an HTML file and it must be opened with the browser. So we want to save our first file together. But to make our work easy, I will create a folder for that and I'll put all our work in that folder.
Hi, Mr. Taiwo. The only thing I can see is a blank screen with JavaScript and skeleton.
Wow. Please, others. I'm expecting us to just see a blank screen alone.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm seeing the Sublime text.
yes, that's what. Just untitled Sublime text with nothing on the page for now.
Yeah. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. It can be that your network is slow. That's possible. Okay, let's move on. Next is, let's create a folder. I'll create a folder here. I can call it new HTML plus. So I'll save all our files inside this folder to make it easy. So next is, I'm inside Sublime Text and this is an untitled file. So just press Ctrl S to save it. Military place constraints is telling you or is asking for the location or where you want to save it. So I will just navigate to that folder. New HTML class. Then I can give it any name of my choice. What should we call it? That's someone suggest.
First class.
First class. First class. I can to make it easy to read. But note it must end with .html.
HTML.
Whatever name you give it, it must end with .html. Then you save. So we've created our first HTML file. Next is you now want to start writing codes inside this file. Before we write codes, we have what we call HTML tags. HTML tags. Let's discuss this. Then after discussing it, we write some few codes. Every command in HTML, it's like a verb and a noun. Every command is like a verb and a noun. So let's discuss how this works. A verb is an action word, right? What you are doing is you want to command or you want to give action to a noun. For instance, you want to combine, remember I said in HTML it's like you are combining both noun and verbs together. And let me put it this way. Let me say verb, noun, verb. Yeah, the noun before the verb. Noun plus verb, that's what equals to tag. Let me put it like that's noun plus verb equals to tag. So this is what you want to do. It's like you want to say Taye jump. This is a tag. So you are instructing Taye to jump. Kenny sits. You are instructing Kenny to sit. Tolu eats. You are instructing Tolu to eat. So to start with, you want to look at the verb parts down. We now come back to the noun parts. So let's first focus on this verb part. That is the command itself before we look at those things that are receiving the command. We want to look at the command. So we want to write something like this in HTML. We want to be able to instruct someone to do some things. Maybe I want to instruct Tayo to jump. I want to instruct Kenny to sit. I want to instruct Tolu to eat, and all of that. Let's pick the verb path. So the verb path. These verb parts they're actually called the tags or HTML. Okay. Sorry, let me quickly. Okay. I think this is better. What we want to do in HTML is noun plus verb, and I can now say this verb part is called a tag. The verb is called a tag. So we want to look at how a tag looks like. A tag is a combination of a combination of two things. An opening tag, a complete tag in HTML, a complete tag is a combination of two things. First is a combination of opening tag plus closing tag. So a complete tag in HTML is a combination of opening tag plus closing tag. Let's discuss what is an opening tag and what a closing tag is. Remember, a tag is like a verb. So in English language, if I want to say sit, I'll write it like this. In HTML, you write it as a combination of two things, opening tag plus closing tag. Let's discuss how an opening tag looks like. This is how an opening tag looks like. You put a less than before the verb and you put a greater than after it. So this is an opening tag. a less than before it and a greater than after it. That makes it an opening tag. Next to the closing tag, remember, in English language this is fine, but in HTML this alone does not make a complete tag. You need to close it. So after writing it, you have to close it. The only difference between an opening tag and a closing tag is the introduction of a forward slash. So this is a closing tag. So in HTML, in English language, I will write it. In HTML, this is how it looks like. If I want to write it in English language like this, but in HTML, it will look like this. If I want to say jump, in English language like this, in HTML, it's like this. Open it, then close it. Do you understand? Any question? Let me see if there's any question in this box. Okay. No question. Can we move on? Next is...
Yeah.
Okay. So we've seen how to write a tag. Next is we want to look at the noun part. That is, that thing that is receiving that command. Remember, the essence of a verb or the work of a verb is to command maybe a noun. To command a particular thing. Yes, you want to actually give a command to something. So normally in English language, if I want to say Taye sit, it's going to be like this. But in HTML, whatever you are giving that command to, whatever you are commanding, that now must be between the opening and the closing tag. That is how it receives command. So here it's going to be like this: Taye sit. So in this case, I'm instructing Taye to sit. If I want to say Kemi eats, in this case, it will be like this. Kemi will be between the opening and the closing tag. Then if I want to say Tolu jump, it's going to be like this. Tolu will be between the opening and the closing tag. So this is a complete HTML command. Any question? Next, I want to look at what an attribute is. An attribute in HTML attribute. An attribute is we can describe an attribute to an attribute is a better description of a tag. Most times a tag is not definite. A tag is not definite. Let me give an example. Here I'm saying Taye should sit, but what should be the sitting posture? Should Taye cross his legs? Yes, we are saying Taye should sit, but we are not being descriptive enough. So an attribute helps us to give better description to a tag. It makes a tag more descriptive. So I can come here and give it an attribute. An attribute is written in the opening tag. It will be written inside this opening tag. Then an attribute is a combination of a name and a value. What does that mean? Posture cross legs. So this posture is a name, while this is the value. Posture, then I want the value to be cross legs. So I'm saying that whenever Taye sits, I want Taye should sit in this posture. I want Taye to cross leg while sitting. Maybe Kemi, I want Kemi to eat, but then I'm not specifying the cutlery that Kemi should eat with. So I can say cutlery because to maybe eat with spoon. So here I'm being definite. I'm saying that Kemi should eat with spoon while using spoon as the cutlery. So this is the name of this attribute and this is the value. Remember, an attribute is a name to value pair. A name and the value. Well, I'm saying Tolu should jump, but I'm not telling Tolu how the heights. So I can come here and say height equals to maybe 1 meter. So I'm saying Tolu jump and reach an height of 1 meter. So do we understand what an attribute is? Can we move
Yes.
on? Okay. So a tag can take more than one attribute. I can say it will spawn, but we didn't specify the speed. Maybe we want it to be fast. So here, carry width will spawn and the speed will be fast. So you can add more attributes to it. Then now let's talk about this
Yes.
name.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Excuse. Yeah. In writing the codes, are we using Sublime Text?
Yes, sir. We are using Sublime Text.
Okay. I've been looking to download that, but I can't just find that. Is it
You said?
I said I've been for. Can I download that Google?
Yes, I will send the link to you. Maybe which group are you?
Okay. Thank you.
Which group are you?
I'm in artificial intelligence
Okay, okay. So I
AI.
will send the. In fact, maybe I will send it to both groups after the class. I'll send it to you. So
Okay.
this now we are being specific now. We are saying let your speed be fast and it will spawn, and you can add even more attributes. But then you can't just use any attribute for any tag. No. For instance, I can't say jump using spoon as cutlery. You know this will look absurd. This looks absurd. Like, what's the correlation between jumping and cutlery? Well, it doesn't seem to make sense. So you can't use any attribute with just any tag. You need to read on that tag and look at the attributes available for that tag. Next, now we understand what an attribute is and we understand what a tag is. Next is we want to look at something called self-closing tags.
Hello, Ma.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Fine.
Do you have any question?
Mo.
Hello, Mr. Taiwo. Yes, I do.
Okay.
In the text edition, the part where you're writing the text, those signs are greater than signs or less than, right? They are not brackets.
No, they are not bracket. This is less than. Why this is greater than?
And then for cutlery and spoon, so which one is the value? Which one is the name?
Okay, this is the name and this is the value. This is the name and this is the value.
Thank you.
Next, I want to look at something we call self-closing tags. These are tags that you only open, you don't close them. They are very few. Most of the tags you'll be looking at will take this format. But there are few exceptions. Very few. But it's good you understand that they exist. These tags, you only open them and you don't close them. These tags also, they are just verbs, they don't take noun. You know, we are saying that Tolu should jump. But for self-closing tag, you don't close them. You just say jump like this. And you are not giving that command to any noun or anything, just write them like that, but they are not much. So as time goes on, we will encounter these tags, self-closing tags, but so that when we get there, you won't be surprised, so that you know that they exist. Before we start writing our codes now, I mean before we start, I'm just explaining what we are going to do. But before we do that, lastly on this part, look at the scenario. I will delete some of these things and let me scroll down. Good. So let's say I have three students, Taye, Kenny, Ido. I have three students. I want to instruct Kenny to sleep. What I'll do is I will go to the beginning of Kenny. I will write sleep. I've opened it. Then I will go to the end of Kenny and put sleep. So in this case, I'm instructing Kenny to sleep. If I want both Taye and Kenny to sleep, what I'll do is I will go to the beginning of Taye and I'll put, if I want Taye and Kenny to sleep, I'll put sleep here. And I will close it after Kenny. So whatever is within this place will be affected. Whatever is within that tag will be affected. So in this case, Taye and Kenny
will sleep.
So if I want Kenny and Idowu to sleep, I will go to the front of Kenny. I open sleep. Then I'll go to after Idowu. I'll put sleep. So in this case, Kenny and Idowu will sleep. Okay. If I want Taye and Idowu to sleep, which is also possible, let's look at that scenario. So since they are not together, one thing I can do is I'll come here and say sleep. Then I'll close it here. Then I'll come here also. I say I'll stay sleep. Then I'll close it here. So Taye and Idowu will sleep. You might ask that why not just do it like this? If you do it like this, the three of them will sleep. Taye, Kenny, and Idowu will sleep. So instead, we just write it like this.
Okay.
We'll put it here, then you come here also and say sleep. Then maybe you might be thinking that why not just look hard? Instead of stressing ourselves doing this, why not just do something else? Why not just do this? I'm coming. Since we want the tail of Taye and Idowu to sleep, why not just take Idowu out of this place and lift it up to this place? Then we can now easily come here and say sleep. And then we come here and close it. This will work. But there are some times whereby you don't want to change the location of that item. You don't want to. So if you can change this, yes, it's possible. But there are some times that you don't want to. So in that case, you have no choice than just to write it twice. So that it's going to be like this. Yeah, so that it will be like this. Any question? So let's now go to the practical session. This is just the theoretical part. We have what you should I think I call it boilerplates. Now, boilerplate is a common term in the world of programming. And what it just means is a set of codes that you use over and over again. That you use again and again and again and again and again. So in HTML, there are some boilerplates, like there are some set of codes that irrespective of the page you want to build, you just have to write these things. You just have to. And they are at least minimum, there are at least 8 lines of codes. And I will write the whole 8 lines for us, one after the other. You need to write these 8 lines before you start writing any other thing. So let's look at the 8 lines. This is the first one. This is the first line, line 1. Whenever you want to write HTML code, this must be your line 1. And what is the work of this? This is not even a tag. It's not a tag. It's is one responsible for telling your page that, see, the codes I want to write on this page, they are HTML5 codes. Now it looks confusing. What's the meaning of HTML5 codes? We have different versions of HTML. The latest version is HTML5. If you are writing other versions, you don't put this line. But immediately your browser sees this line, instantly it knows that, oh, the codes inside this file, they are HTML5 codes. Do we understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So next is, you now want to start writing HTML. So you put this next. This tells the page that, okay, this all my HTML codes will be inside this place. This is like the root stack. All HTML codes must be inside this HTML tag. This is like the beginning of HTML, and this is the end of HTML. So making 3 lines now. I think line 1, line 2, line 2. There are about 8 lines. Next, this HTML is divided into 2 parts. We have the head and the body. Your page will be divided into 2 parts. We have the head and the body. So I will explain what you put inside the head and what you put inside the body. If you observe, both the head and the body, they are directly inside HTML. Meaning that you are dividing this HTML tag into 2. Head, body. Let's assume the body is inside the head. It's not like that, I'm just saying. What you are just saying is, what this means is, inside this HTML you have head, and inside this head you have body. In this case, you are not dividing it into 2, it's just one. But in this case, what this means is, HTML itself is divided into 2 things, the head and the body. So let's discuss what you put inside the head and what you put inside the body. Like I said, these things that we are writing, they are things that you will need on all pages. And sorry to tell you, please just cram it. Just cram it. They are not much. I think we are currently on line 5. They are just about 8 lines. So next is what you're going to put inside the head. The head is responsible for the description of your web page. We call this metadata. It's responsible for the metadata of the web page, information about the page. While the body is responsible for the information on the page. If it looks confusing, look at the water bottle. If I get a bottle of water, what am I buying? If I actually buy a bottle of water, what am I buying?
You are buying the water.
The water inside, Abby. If you buy a water bottle, what you're actually buying is the water inside of the bottle, right?
Yeah.
So that will be in the body. That's the main content. Then that water bottle, we have a sticker around it to give you information about that water. That sticker will contain the manufacturer of the water. It will contain the liters of water inside the bottle or other information inside that bottle.
Yeah.
That sticker around it is like the head, giving you information about it. Why the water inside it is like the body. That is what your users will actually see. What you actually want your users to see. But the head is very important to give you information about the page. Why the body is responsible for the information on the page. Do we get the difference now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's proceed. So one of those things you put inside the head is what we call title. Title. The title of a page is responsible for, is mainly used by search engines. Let me give us an example. I'll go to Google and search for shirts. Now, look at these things. Can we see these texts here? Can we see this text here? Those are the titles of these pages. This is the title of that page. This is the title of the page. So, whatever you put here is the title. Like, whatever you put inside the title will be displayed here. So we realize that it is very important. So you can say, maybe you can just say my first page or my first file or anything. My first HTML file. So that's the title. Next is the body. So you now want to put some things inside the body. I think we are done with the whole it's. So we are done with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think this is fine. So these are at least the barest minimum. Okay, yeah, the barest minimum to build a web page. The barest minimum. At least these 8 lines are very important. Doc type, then the HTML, which is the root tag. Every other tag will be inside the HTML. The HTML is divided into 2, the head and the body. Then inside the head, we have the title. Then inside the body, you now have the content of your page. Hey, I now know HTML. So this is inside the body. If I run this now, you will see this on the page. So to run it, if you are using Sublime Text, you right click on it and you click on open in browser. If you have that text editor, if you have another text editor, you can go online and see how to run it. But if you are using Sublime Text, just right click and click on open in browser. Hey, I now know HTML. Let's try some other things. How are you doing? How are you doing? Let's proceed and learn some other tags. Next, we want to look at what's called the heading tags. Heading tags. We have H1 to, they are, at least you can use up to 6 headings. H1 to H6, we have the H1 tag, we have the H2 tag, H3 tag, H4 tag, H5 tag, H6 tag. The H1 tag is the most important heading on your page. The most important of all. The H2 tag is a subheading, it's like a subheading under H1. The H3 is like a subheading under H2, on and on like that, till you get to H6. H1 is the most important. H2 is less important when you compare it with H1. H3 is less important when you compare it with H2, and on like you get to H6. H6 is the least important heading. So let's go back to our Google search. Well, I think I search for shirts now. Shirts. So let me click on this. Now, after opening it, can you see this that you have here is the H1. Now you might be surprised that, well, is that not the title? Remember, we saw this the other time as the title, right? Please, are we together?
Yeah.
So we saw this the other time as the title, and somehow I'm saying that it is now
Yes.
H1. This is it. It is it is surely common that you use the title as the H1, but it's not every time. The title is mainly used by search engine to search for the page. The heading or the H1 tag is the major heading on that page, and for that reason, a lot of people use the title and the heading. They use the same text for both the title and the heading. The reason is because after searching for it and you open that page, you want to, is a way of telling the user that yes, this is what you're actually looking for. That is, I've searched for something and on get to that page, maybe I see another title, I may be thinking maybe something went wrong or I'm not on the same page. So some people they do things like that. So it is not uncommon. Like you just see that a lot, that the title and the heading they may be the same, and it's a common practice. The H1, you can have other headings on the same page, but the H1 is a common practice that it will be the same as the title of that page. Let's go back. How will, like I said, I will do something. I would write about, let's see about Ashifolifa line. Why am I doing this? I'm currently writing a book, and I'm just trying to follow the way the examples used in that book and all of that. So I want to see if anybody reading that book also be able to understand it without anybody's help. When I'm done with it, I will send it to us. You go to it, read it, and see if you understand it without anybody's help. Now, what you have here is the title of the page. I will click on it and I'll look at the H1. Now, this is the H1, the most important heading. So let's do that. Let's do that for ourselves. Oh, sorry. H1 Olu Falan. We want to build this page together. So the most important, if there's any other heading, we can write it. Let's look at other headings on this page. We have early life and education, and we have civil service and government career, political career. Okay, let's do that. Let's give us the remaining heading. H2. I'll just copy this and paste it there. Then H3. Oh, sorry, H2 also. Because the reason this is not H3 is because these ones, they are like direct sub-heading of the main heading. Do we understand? This, they are direct sub-headings of the main heading. So this is as important as this. It's not like it's more important. It's as important. Like they have the same importance. So if this is H2, this will also be H2. So press this. I think someone is trying to join. So let's move on. Next is the political career. I'll just copy this and I'll come here and say H2 also, paste it here. So I have the H1 and I have 3 sub-headings under the H1. I don't think you have any reason to use 2 H1 on the same page. H1 is like the main heading of that page, what that page talks about. Then you can now have other sub-headings. You can now have sub-headings under the main heading. So I don't think you have any reason to have 2 H1 on the same page. Now we are trying to build this page together. Next is I'll just copy this. I'll put it under the main heading. After the
But we can have as much as many H2, right?
Yes, you can. If there is another sub-heading under this early life and education, that will be H3 under it. Do you understand?
Okay.
H1 is the main heading. H2s are sub-headings directly under the main heading. H3, they are like sub-headings under the H2.
Yeah.
So you get to H6. There's no H7. The list is H6. Now next is, let's run it on the browser so that we see how these things look like. Can you see that this is bigger than the rest? And it's also bolder.
Yeah.
Now, although the H1 to H6 make text bold and big, please never use them for that purpose. Only use them to specify headings. Don't use them because you want the text to be bold or you want the text to be big. When you get to CSS, you will see how to make a text big and bold and all of that. But don't use them for that reason. There are many use for headings. They are important because this is important for search engines also. please don't use them to make text bigger. Although they make text bigger, but don't use them for that. Just use them to specify headings. Then also, another reason why this is important is because of what we call screen readers. You know, some people that are visually impaired, they use websites and they're able to read the website with the help of what we call screen readers. If you don't use the right tag, the screen reader will read wrong things to them, and they won't be able to use your page effectively. So use the right tag, and that makes it easier for screen readers to read your page and make it easy for those that are visually impaired to use your web page. They are not able to see the content of the page, and they rely on screen readers to read that page. So, and the screen readers will be looking for these tags to know the right thing. It will tell that, oh, okay, this is the main heading, this is the subheading under the main heading, and all of that. So let's move on. Next is we want to put this text there. So I'll copy this and put it under the main heading. Then I'll copy this and put this under the subheading. I can never copy everything. Yeah. Put it under this. Then come here. Under the next one, put this under it. Then lastly, go to the political career. I just stop here. So let's go to our web page and see how this looks like. Go to your page, save it. Of course, after you make any changes, please save. You press Ctrl S and save. Then go to the browser and refresh the browser. So I will go to the browser now and refresh. I think we are making progress. Next thing is this. It is actually bad for you to just place texts directly in the body. What we are doing now is we are placing text directly in the body, which is not good. Remember, the essence of HTML is to define the structure of our web page. HTML helps us to define the structure of our web page. That leads us to other tags, interesting tags. It leads us to what we call the P tag. The P tag. The P tag is used to define a paragraph. So instead of placing this directly, because this text are directly inside the body, I can place this inside a paragraph. Of course, that's how it should be. Place this inside a P tag. Then this is another paragraph also. I'll place inside another P tag. I'll just cut all of this.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If you scroll up a bit, please. It says H1 and H2. Is H1 the head?
Yes, it's the main heading of the page.
Okay. Why H2 is the body, right?
No, H2 is subheading under H1.
Okay. Okay.
Next is
But
someone wants to join. So next, I'll put this inside another paragraph. Oh, all of this, I can just cut all of this. Cut. Okay, cut. Then scroll up, put it inside a P tag, paste. So it's inside another paragraph now. Then this one's also cut. I put inside the P tag. Good. So we've put all these text inside the paragraph. To make our work neat, let me just format these things a bit. These ones that are at the back, just show them to the front. So we are gradually building Shifolufa Lies Wikipedia page. Now, if you run this, you will not see any significant difference. In fact, it may not be obvious, but will tell us why this is important. The other tags that we've looked that we've looked at, once you refresh, you will see a significant difference. But in this case, it doesn't look significant, and well, you might say that why are we stressing ourselves if it's not reflecting on the page? Remember, I talked about screen readers the other time. Please, using the right tag is very important. That's one for screen readers. Number two, it also makes it easy for search engines to index your page accordingly, to be able to know the structure of your page, how to search your page, and all of that. It's important for those that are into AI, data science and AI parts. When you start doing web scripting, you will understand how important this is, to know how to search and all of that. You'll be indexing pages, searching to web pages, and all of that. So please, these things, using the right tag is important for all these things. It helps search engines to know how to index your page, to understand the structure of your page even the more. If you've been into, or you've been a blogger, if you've been in maybe Google AdSense and all of that, there will be a point whereby you will need to put Google codes, Google API on your page, and that API will come to your, like Google will come to your page, index your page, go to the content of your page, and know if they should bring their advert, or if they should place the advert on your page or not, if they should approve the advert for your page or not. How is it able to know all of this? It's going to use all these tags to know, to read through your page. All these things are automatic. It's automated. It's not that someone will sit down at the corner and start reading to them. No. Some codes will just sit to your page and look at the structure of your page and know if advert should be placed on your page or not. Also, it also know where to place the adverts, so that the adverts will not cover the content of your page. So please use the right tag. Next, we still want to look at some other tags. The next tag we want to look at is the section tag. Section tag. Why is this so important? The section tag is used if you want to group your page into different sections. Of course, this is like a section. This is the early life and education section of Shifolufa-Lai. This is the brief introduction, this is like introductory section of Shifolufa-Lai. This is like early life and education of Shifolufa-Lai. Then this is another section. If I want to read about the civil service and government career, this is the section for that. Then if I want to read about, I think we also copied political, yes. If you want to read about the political career, this is the section for it. So section tag allows you to group your page into different sections. Now, please, for you to use the section tag, you need to be sure that they are related. What does this mean? Let me give an example. Let's say, let me remove everything on this page now. Let me create a new page. Okay. Second class. Then now let's say on my page let's say my page is a blog page. It's a blog page, or Twitter. Let's say this Twitter app. So let's say the first person posted, today is a good day. Then another person posted or tweeted, how are you doing? No, this is my own Twitter one. I'm assuming that these are Twitter one. Another person tweeted, let's say, I am hungry, something like this. So we have these three posts. Are they in any way related to one another? Is, are they in any way related?
Yeah,
Does this one explains
kind of.
this?
No.
No. So you are not going to be using the section tag for things like this. They need to be related. It needs to be like maybe more explanation of something else. When to use section tag, those parts needs to be related. So when you are building maybe something like a blog or something, you may not use the section tag to represent unrelated posts. Section tags are only used to represent related posts. Those posts needs to be related. So it's like you are saying this is a part. Good. You know, a section is like a part of something, a section of something. So when you are using the section tag, you need to know that okay, this is a part of something. In this case, we can say that this is the introductory part of this. This is like the introductory part. This is like the early life and education part. This is like the political part. So they are part of something. But before I even bring in this section, we look at the main tag. Yes, main tag. We look at the main tag. For now, I won't give us much explanation about the main tag. In our next example, you will understand this main tag better. For now, I will copy all of these things and paste that inside the main tag. Just cut all of this off and paste that inside the main tag. The main tag is used to represent the main information on your page. Now you might be surprised that, well, at the end of the day, it's as though everything on this page is the main information on this page. But in our next example, this main tag will become clearer. You will see something that you won't put inside the main tag. So main tag usually houses, most times it houses a lot of information. It houses a lot of information and it houses the main information on your page. Everything inside this main tag talks about Chief Olu Falai. Let's say there's any other thing on this page that does not talk about him, then it's not going to be inside the main tag because this page is about Chief Olufalai. So if there's anything on this page that is not about the central idea of the page, it will not be within the main tag. The main tag is used to hold the central idea of your web page. Whatever is outside that central idea will not be inside the main tag. It will be in some other tags that we'll consider later. But for now, the central everything on this page is contributing to the central idea, or it explains the central idea of our web page, of this particular page. Do we understand? Please, do we get it?
Mr. Taiwo, yes. You were talking about section tags.
Yes, I
So,
want to.
for example, in the paragraph tag,
Okay.
we know that P is the word for paragraph.
Okay.
So, what's the word for section?
Then that's section also. You can now come here and say this is a section. So we cut this out and paste it inside the section. So this is a section. The section starts here and it ends here. So let's have another section for this early life and another section. Come here, cut these two and paste it inside. So then get another section again. So I think this is where we are going to round off today, because I don't want it to be too much. So I will revise everything I've done so far. Then another section. Cut this out. Put it inside this section. Section. Okay. So let's see what we've done so far. So far, we've looked at how to create a file. To create a file, after installing Sublime Text, you you open it, then you press Ctrl S to save it. So after saving it, we talked about the 8 lines, that is uh, the minimum lines of codes. This the doc type talks about tells the page that you are writing HTML5 codes. Then this HTML tag, which you open and you are closing at the end of everything, is a root tag of your page. All HTML codes will be within that tag. Next, you have the head and body. The head gives information about the page, while the body gives information on the page. Inside the head, we have the title of that page. So the title of this page now, let's adjust it accordingly. Since this page is about Chief Olufola, I can say Chief Olufola. So that's the title of my page. Now, inside this body now, we have the main tag. The main tag talks about the central idea of this page. Whatever is out of the central idea of the page will not be within the main tag. Then next, we talk about the section tag. The section tag helps you to group your page into different sections. This is telling the page that this is a section. Why this is another section? And note, when you are using section, they have to be related together. You don't group all related items as sections. They need to be related. It's like this is giving you more description of this, why this is giving you more description of like different section of the same idea. So this is a section. Inside this section, we have heading and this tag. So this like brief. You can call this the introductory section. You can call this the early life and education section. You can call it the civil service and government career section. You can call this the political career section. If you run this page on the browser, the section tag again will not reflect any reasonable or any major changes. It's not going to cause any major changes. It will still be like before. Again, this is important for screen readers and search engines. It is important for all of this. We are doing all of this for the sake of screen readers and search engines, and also to structure our page accordingly. So in our next class, we are going to see how to add this picture. We are going to bring this picture. Is there no picture here? Wow. I suppose this picture should be here. Let me refresh this page. Okay. In our next class, we are going to put this picture on the page. Maybe we can just put it somewhere on this. It can be inside maybe this introductory section. After this brief text, this picture can follow. So we're going to see how to add his image to how to add images to our web page. But now we've known how to add headings to our web page, we've known how to add paragraphs to our web page, and we've known how to group our page into different sections. These sections, please again, this I'm handling this is easy to use this section in a wrong way. It's very, very easy. But when you are using section, be sure that they are related. If they are all related, don't use section. We have other tags that we look at, and when we get to those tags, I will also explain. All of these things were released with HTML5 to make your work so easy. Should I say so easy now? To just make it easier for web browsers, search engines to index your page. All of these things. Please know when to use each tag and use the tags accordingly. Don't use them wrongly. Any question before we go today?
Yes, Mr. Taiwo.
Okay, so
It's might be a silly question. It's just I'm focused on how I would count the amount of space bars or tabs to get to usage section or main, and then when I want to close the part.
okay, this space. You see this one?
Yes, those spaces.
Okay. Oh, thanks for bringing it up. Thank you very much. uh, this is something we need to notice. In HTML, this makes it easy. What you are doing is you want to make it easy for you to even read your page. You yourself. All these spaces, they are mainly for us to read our page, to make it easy for you or for developers or anybody that sees this code to find it easy to read. When you have a tag here, let's say I have a first tag. There's no tag called first, but we are assuming that I have a tag called first. If any tag will be inside this first, then just put a tab, like there should be a tab. Do you understand? If you want to put another tag inside this first, put a tab. So let's say I have second here. By seeing this tab, once I see second, I will immediately know that this second is inside first. This is just to make it easy for you to read. But if you put it, if it's outside, if the second is not inside it will be at the same level. Now let me just call this tag. This means this third and this first, they are at the same level. Like none of them is inside inside the other. Do you get it? If another tag will be inside this second, again, note, just put a tab to show that, oh, this is inside this tag. Do we get it?
Yes, it's when it comes to now closing it, that's the problem.
Once you close it, it is also why closing a tag. Okay. Note something. Here, I opened second, I opened third, and I'm saying that third is inside second. You must not close the outer tag before closing the inner tag. You have to close the inner tag. I think I wrote something around that in that book. I think tag nesting. Yeah. Let's go to that section of tag nesting. You just look, I think there are two commands there. Why nesting a tag? That is why whenever you want to place a tag inside another tag, the last to open is the first to close. The last tag that you open should be the first to close. You don't come here and close second before closing third. You don't close second like this. Oh, sorry. You don't close second before closing third. This is wrong. Once you open third inside second, you need to first close third before you close second. Sorry, nesting. Okay. Inappropriate tag nesting. You need to close the inner tag before closing the outer tag. This is the inner tag. This third is the inner tag. You need to first close this third before you close the outer one. So it must first be closed before closing the outer one. Do you get it, sir? Let's look at other rules.
Yes.
I think another rule I wrote here is when nesting tag, indent the inner tag to make it easy to read and understand. I think I've explained that one. Put an indentation in the inner one to make it easy to read, so that once you see it, you automatically know that, oh, this is inside this tag. I think those are the two rules. Yeah. Is there any other rule? Okay. Any other question?
Please, I have a question. Just observation of question, sir. In the section part,
Okay.
after putting the paragraph, I know you did mail, open and close once. Why are you using section
I
per
can't tell you very
paragraph per
well.
paragraph? Do one? Can't we do one section and close it? Or in the section part, we are doing it per paragraph per paragraph.
Yes.
My question is, can you do it open once and close down?
Okay. Okay. Now remember that the purpose of section
At the
is
last paragraph.
Okay, why not just open it here, then come to the end of everything and close it. Now, but let's first discuss the purpose of using section. Section is meant, or we are using section because we want to group our
Yes.
page into different parts. So if we remove all of this, let's assume I remove this part. Let me just if I remove it, may be confusing later, so I will do something called indentation. I will get commenting. I will come back to this later. Just ignore it. What I'm just saying, instead of removing it, instead of deleting it, I'm just telling the browser to omit it. So I'm removing this. Imagine I remove this. Imagine I remove this. Imagine I remove all of this. Now, this has actually defeated the purpose of section. Purpose of section is to group our, we are saying that these things are, or this page, this main, it has many sections. That's what you're trying to do with section. This is main. All of these things are inside the main. We now want to say that, oh, this main, no, it has a lot of sections. So with this now, we've grouped everything as just one section, which has defeated the purpose of section. The question is, what section is the host of now? What section can we call this? Well, maybe no, we won't be able to call it section because all of them are together again. But by grouping it into sections, what you're just saying is this page, this main has many sections. This is a section. You can call this the introductory section. You will see how to call it different section, or you can call it ID, introductory section. ID is like the name of that part. We'll talk about an ID later. Introductory section. So we are saying that this is the introductory section. You can call this early life section. Early life. Instead of repeating section, I can just call it introductory or introduction. Anyway. So I know that, oh, this is the introduction. This is the early life. So this is another section. Then I can say this is another section. This is the civil service section. ID civil service. This is another section. We are just, purpose of section is just to group that the content of that page into different section, different parts, but they must be related. Please, they must be related. Political career, political section, or political career section. So what you're just doing here is you are saying that, oh, these things are different section of this page. So if I wake up tomorrow and I want to add more information about his political career, then I know that it must definitely be within this section tag, this particular one. If I wake up tomorrow and I want to add another thing about his early life, then I know that, oh, it must be within this place. Within this place. If I want to add his introduction, good. I said in our next class we'll be adding his picture. That will be under the introduction. We won't have to. We won't start thinking about where we should put it. Oh, we're going to go about it. Should we put it here or elsewhere or something like? We know that, oh, his picture should be inside this place. But maybe we want to add his childhood picture. If it's his childhood picture, then definitely it will be inside the early life section. I hope you understand it.
Yes, I understand.
Please, are we confused? Please open up. I want us to understand these things. Do we get it? If you are lost, please say I'm lost. Okay, if you get it, say I get it.
I got it.
I understand.
Okay. So in our next class we are going to
I get it.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. In our next class we will add his picture to the page and we will complete this page. Where is it? This page, and we'll look at some other tags as we proceed also. Thank you very much. I will upload the video and send the link to us so that you can watch. Have a lovely night rest. Then,
Thank you. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
let me give us an assignment to work on. Mm, okay, what you want to do is this. If you want to build your maybe a school page, imagine. Okay, I don't even need to imagine. Your maybe undergraduate this. Build a page for your school. Just build a page for your school. Maybe, of course, you can have different departments and all of that. Build a page for your school based on what we've learned so far. You know, in your school you have faculties, you have departments also in those faculties and all of that. Build like a landing page for your school. So based on what we've learned, whatever you think we can add it. We will look at it together in the next class. Thank you. We meet on Tuesday. I think our next class will be on Tuesday. Yes.
One question before we go.
Okay, sir.
When I write all this line of code, I don't know how I would run it to go onto the internet to see it.
Okay, save it. Press Ctrl S. After that, right click on your device. Click on Open in Browser. Once you click on it, it will open in browser itself. So if you make any
Thank you
change,
very much.
if you add, let's say I remove some things and I get to the browser, it won't automatically reflect. No, you need to refresh here, then you will see those changes. So save it, then refresh the browser, you will see the changes. Any other question?
Please, how do we send the assignments? When we open on another browser, do we download or something? I don't
Okay, just send it to my
know.
mail. tayabdap@gmail.com. As time goes on, when we are done with HTML, we do Git and we won't have to even send it to my mail again. But till we are done with HTML, send it to my mail. Send it to this mail. Another question? Okay. In absence of questions, thank you. We'll meet on Tuesday. I'll be expecting an assignment. Please, assignments are very, very, very important. So let me stop recording.